Hey out there in the void, Baby Rizzo, back once again. That was quick. I know I just checked in recently, but, well, I was feeling kind of frisky, so I dove into my stack of unwatched movies that I've gotten for $1. You know, the ones that usually make me make faces and complain a lot. Well, actually, this one was a bit of a pleasant surprise. Usually things I pull out of there are, well, bad shark movies or made-for-TV sci-fi channel abominations. But no, this time, Ava's Possessions. Have you heard of this movie? I hadn't heard of this movie. I knew nothing about this one going in. And, well, it actually, okay, this one worked out for me. It's an interesting take on the possession genre. Um, it's almost a horror comedy, but it doesn't really lean into the comedy angle as much as it could. There's some weird scenarios that are vaguely comedic, and really, if you examine the setup for this movie, the premise makes it seem like The Exorcist meets The Hangover. Like I said, it mostly plays it straight. The one thing keeping this movie from being really great is it has all the trappings of a good horror comedy. It just doesn't actually go through with jokes for the most part, though there is a few tongue-in-cheek moments. So this one starts off a little bit different than most possession movies. This one, the opening credits are, well, the exorcism, and you don't really see too much of it. So most of this movie is what happens next, which, okay, not many movies cover that. The only one I can think of off the top of my head is The Last Exorcism Part 2, but that one mostly handles someone already already distanced from a lot of the things. This one actually picks up, the next day, and you don't know exactly what she did while she was possessed at first. Neither does she. She can't remember the last month of her life as she spent it possessed, and, well, now has to deal with the repercussions of that. Her family is acting slightly distant, though they're trying to be supportive. She's being charged with numerous crimes, and her choices are either jail, being sent off to a mental health facility, or going through Spirit Possession Anonymous. Seriously, they actually call it Spirit Possession Anonymous. It's like a Alcohol Anonymous, but for recovering possession victims. So I guess in the universe of this movie, possession is a common enough thing that people accept it in. But they never really talk about that. It's the world they're in. But they rolled with it well enough that I was buying that. But like I said, something like that just seems a little silly, and they could have leaned into that a bit more. That said, it actually kind of examines some of the stuff you usually don't think about. So, like, her friends she's had very much a falling out and a separation with most of them because of how she acted while she was possessed. Occasionally, people recognize her on the street and are fleeing from her. She assaulted some people and now has to try to make amends for a lot of what happened. So, it's an interesting examination of that sort of thing. The things you don't usually think about. Her cleaning up the mess afterwards, and okay, where did this blood stain come from? Is that my blood? Did I hurt someone? So, yeah, I was digging this movie. And unlike my last demon possession movie, this one's demon actually does not have a ridiculous name. It's actually goes with a demon name from mythology. Though I had it earlier, but it's escaping me now. Shoot, that's gonna bother me. But anyway, the effects of this movie are actually fairly minimalistic since a lot of the demon possession stuff, well, has already happened. And there's some decent flashbacks to some of the stuff, or meetings with the group of other possessed people. That's, well, you get some interesting stories about some of the other demons and how the support group works and finding ways to fend off future possessions. So, yeah, it was an interesting movie. Ah, then Nafula the Anointed, that was the name of her demon, which is an actual demon from demonology, so, okay. This movie did a little bit of homework. It's by no means a perfect movie, and the climax for this one does fall a little flat. It was kind of building up to some things, and you really wish it would have delivered a little more between a confrontation between her demon, and another antagonist in the movie. Another problem she's having is essentially throughout it, the demon is trying to come back, so she's going to this therapy to find out ways of protecting herself and warding it off if it manages to come. Meanwhile, her family is acting weird and trying to just put her away. At the same time, one of her friends from the support group actually wants their demon back and is trying to convince her to help her find a way to do that because it made her feel powerful. And, find a way of working with the demon rather than resisting it. So they put a lot of interesting takes in this. But like I said, that climax, when with the demon being involved, I was hoping for more, but it goes pretty quick, which is a bit of a shame. Now, a lot of the mystery is what she did, and you start to realize that there might be more to it in regards to certain other characters. So, I'm not going to spoil this, but a lot of it, I didn't actually see coming until, well, just before it was revealed. But one key reveal, they telegraph pretty early, and they make it seem like it's like the last minute stinger of, oh my. It really isn't. But if you're paying attention, it makes sense, but they telegraph it too obviously if they're trying to make it a surprise. But overall, I was actually pretty satisfied with this one. I mean, it's not great by any means, but it was a fresh take. I'm gonna give this one an easy 3. If it had finished a little stronger, this one could have been a 4. Or if it had leaned into the ridiculous side, like it occasionally did or almost did, then it would definitely have been a solid 4, but with its flaws, it's a 3. I'd say it's worth seeing just for a more unique take on the possession genre. So, yeah, Ava's Possessions, I do give a recommendation to, actually, and honestly, I wasn't expecting to. I mean, the cover there doesn't really give you much to go with, and pretty much the back style, it looks like a direct-to-video bit of nonsense. But none of the actors are known actors. It did give me a little hope that it actually has a rating on it. That's usually a good sign. Most junk movies will either just say not rated or not say anything at all. So that's kind of a key thing. If it says unrated and it wasn't theatrical, yeah, I'd be a little suspicious. Yeah, this one, I mean, the demon effects weren't great, but they were good enough. And the possession stuff, when it was there, was good. So, check this one out. Have a good night.